welcome to Success Story Chronicles. This is your host, Yunus Malik. Today, we got Adnan Ahmed in our sixth episode of Success Story. In Canada, finding a professional job is nothing less than a success because a lot of people struggle and they face tough time getting a decent job to make their living possible. And at times, people have to transform into new professions, into new and today we're going to learn from Adnan that how did he transform, and we'll try to reflect back some of the story to collect some pieces of wisdom that could be useful to our younger audience or new immigrants. Assalamu alaikum, Adnan Sahab.
Wa alaikum.
How are you doing, Adnan Sahab?
Very good, alhamdulillah.
I'll just start, when did you come to Canada? Oh, maybe first your introduction, just a little bit of introduction.
Sure. I will do my best for a little bit introduction. So basically, my background is from the military. I commissioned in Pakistan in 91 and as an army officer. And then later on I joined Army Aviation as a pilot. And I worked with them for around 10 years. Then I left Army and then I pursue a career or immigration in Canada. And I came Canada in 2002. Initially, like everyone, I struggled a lot. I did a lot of odd jobs here and there. Then some wise person told me that there is one course going on in Bow Valley College. This is a new opportunity work program. So I applied and I joined in 2002. That was an excellent program. Actually, they tell you as a new immigrant, what should you do, what career you choose, and what courses you choose for your career profile, basically. So it was around a year sort of a length program. And then I realized, that I don't know, maybe I should go to the flying back because of certain limitations. I didn't go on that route. And because of my other skills, management skills and administrative skills, I thought, let's do something else actually. And I started pursuing towards the banking sector. And then meanwhile, I enrolled myself in as a mortgage consultant. I did a course from Mountain University. I became a part of as a mortgage broker. Excuse me. Then later on, I also did there's another course, financial course, investment funds in Canada course. And for that two courses, because of those two courses, I got a job in one of the Bank of Nova Scotia. I just stayed there I started as a personal banking representative. Then I became a senior personal banking representative. Later on, I joined TD Bank as a financial advisor. And then meanwhile, within next 2-3 years, I did some certifications also, financial side. I did a certificate in financial advice course also, 3 courses, from CSI, Canadian Security Institute, and Canadian Institute of Bankers. Then later on, I joined RBC as a senior account manager, and I stayed there for some time. And meanwhile, I also did my PFP, Personal Financial Planner designation, and from CSI, Canadian Security Institute. And these are some of the courses I did, some financial courses. Once I was assistant branch manager, and I thought just to change my career actually. And Montreal University to complete some contract management courses and project management courses. And in 2012 or 13, I think that time I went into SNC. I joined SNC level, and basically, I think after serving around 6-7 years, 8 years with banking industry, I thought let's change my career actually. And then I went to college, SAIT, and I enrolled myself in GIS, Geographic Information System Applied degree. During this course, I did Python scripting, remote sensing courses, GIS, RTIS, and so there were so many other courses within the GIS. So once I completed my degree, actually, and then I started applying, actually, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to jump in the GIS field.
You did the degree in GIS
GIS.
from University of Calgary, or?
I know, SAIT.
Oh, SAIT, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So then, unfortunately, because my background in Canada was finance, and whenever I used to go for the interview, they always ask me, you have a background in finance, and now you're in IT. So there was, I don't know, I did that decision, and then later on, I tried to upgrade my more courses. I went back SAIT. I did project management certification. I went to Montreal University, did my contract management certification also. They have some programs, and I really like this area, actually. And I didn't have any clue initially about what this contract management is, but after these courses and with my experience in GIS, I tried to start applying different jobs in contract management side. And in 2012, actually, or I think 13, I got a job in SNC-Lavalin. I worked as a contract administrator there for some time, around 2 years. And thereon, I then I moved to Enbridge as a contract specialist, field contract specialist on, there was one project we were doing in Fort McMurray area. And I was on site. Well, it's a 14 rotation sort of job. I worked with them for approximately 1.5 years. Then some different projects in Cold Lake area, in Cenovus area, Conklin area, Fort, like this, all in the north part of Alberta. Then after that, because of less work, I have to move another company. There was a small company I worked with as a project coordinator, Site Energy Services, that was in Sherwood Park in close to Edmonton. I worked with them for 3-4 months, and unfortunately I laid off. So then basically, I started applying again, actually, and I got an opportunity in Saskpa, and I went for Saskpa in Regina approximately more than a year as a temporary contractor employee, and my title was contract specialist, senior contract specialist with them. Later on, after 1 year, again, I was off, and then as in Canada, everybody says that. So then I laid off for, I think, a year, and then I started. But that year I applied around 400 to 500 jobs, and I did
500 jobs.
500 jobs. I applied
500 jobs, even after having that bit of an experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I applied for 500 jobs, basically, 500 roughly. And with my so much financial background also and all those things, basically. But I didn't get a job, basically. But I didn't lose my heart, basically. And I, continue working on applying for jobs, basically. I got 60 calls and 20 face-to-face interviews, but unfortunately it didn't work. But that's okay. I still didn't lose, actually. And I still continued working hard. And luckily in 2018, actually, after a lot of hard work, I got a job as a project coordinator in K-Line Construction and Maintenance Limited. It's a utility company, technically. So I worked with them as a project coordinator for some time, around 7-8 months. Then I promoted as a PM, project manager, on a different substation transmission line projects, And then because it's a smaller company, so I was on Western Canada side. So I was the only PM here. And then working on Saskatchewan projects in Saskpa and in Alberta, AltaLink and other projects, basically as a PM. Later on, within the company, I did some courses, and I did a PMP, and I did a CAPM from PMI. So 2 courses I did actually from PMI. Then I'm also a member of OSET, Ontario Association of Engineering and Technologists, basically, and technicians. I have got a designation of road construction engineer inspector, and I also got a designation of certified technician civil and procurement from OSET, because I'm not an engineer, basically. So I got those designations from them. Meanwhile, also I did a internal audit course as an internal auditor from BSI, British Standard Institute, as an internal audit, and lead audit course from them. So I have lead quality. Then I also have the PM, and plus then then sorry, I just forgot it. During Enrich time, for I did Primavera basics also. I have in my state days, I did my MSP also. So a lot of experience in Microsoft, Visio, publishers, Hotmail. I did Excel, Word, PowerPoint. So typically, so all those I was part of that. And then basically overall, if I go and now presently, I'm working as a manager of procurement and contract. So this is the final duty. They just
Where you are at the moment, yeah.
Wow. Exactly. So I'm working as a corporate level for the company now.
Yeah.
I do policies, procedures, manuals, helping in RFPs, submissions, analysis, overall in the company, and give my guidance basically on the contractual side. Overall, if you see my overall experience is basically in oil and gas and utility and infrastructure sector.
Wow, Dansab, that's like a story of persistence and hard work and continuous effort and development. I'm amazed that you have done so much in your Canadian professional life. So let's go back and try to explore few areas where I think maybe our viewers can pick up some pieces of advice. So you came in 2002. That's right? Yeah. Okay. So when you came here, you had background in administration and flying, and then you all Army-related background. So when you came here, what were your early days look like? Who did you meet, or how did you decide that you wanted to go to do some certification in Bow Valley? What was lacking in that time, when the initial time of when you came in Canada?
Very good question. It's very good, because that time in 2002, I have some relatives, and they were doing some odd jobs. And I thought maybe there's no skilled person basically. So it's all unprofessional people in Canada basically. Honestly, initially I met actually, but I think met someone actually. He was a mechanical engineer. We had a chat in end of 2002, and I discussed my options here basically. And I think he gave me very good advices basically. So that was the starting point of my career. Secondly, I think because of my background, military background, so they teach us resilient resistance basically. Yeah. So I did a lot of, I think I'm a resilient sort of approach I had. There was a lot of struggles, issues, technology unawareness, there's so many issues. Honestly, there were so many issues, there were so many problems I have initially. But I just made, my plan that what I'm going to do actually. So I thought instead of not doing anything, let's start something. So then I just jump in, like I just told you, Bow Valley College. I started looking and browsing, and I found this course, and I jump in, and then from there, you start getting information and awareness, and start moving up with the passage of time. But I tell you, there is a lot of problem. I think the best thing is whenever you are facing this type of, whenever you're coming, like in Canada, for example, do not stick to yourself, that, this is, I cannot do anything actually. So we can do anything. Honestly, I didn't know that even I can become engineer also. One can become, if somebody is a doctor back home, actually, he can always change it. The good part in Canada, which I really like in Canada, is that you can always change your profession honestly, anytime. So because government is giving you loans, student loans, all those. So all those facilities are here. You just have to consume those ones. And what I did actually, and I just forgot to tell you, and I think, and you know this thing also, like yourself, you made I think you are doing a commendable job, like for this type of social media sort of group you have. I also have the same thing actually. with my story and background actually, and a lot of struggle I had. 4 times I was laid off basically, and there were some other struggles also. And I realized, I think people need help, and I made up one group, job and career sort of group, and I try to help people in their resumes, in their speaking skills, how to do the interviews. I'm not very good actually, but I think I can do some contribution, maybe 2 cents for the cost basically. So sorry, coming back to your question, actually, it was very tough, but I think if you are persistent, and if you're resilient, and you're hardworking, I think you start looking for the directions, right people and right time.
That's great. I think the point that you made made me think that the new immigrants have to think about everything with an open mind, open for opportunities, explore more and more, talk to people, find out what are the opportunities that exist there, and then try to be sort of hungry to learn more and more. And when you have shown such attitude and approach, and you do something, you try to improve upon yourself, slowly and gradually, you build your credentials in terms of your skills, in terms of your networking, and in terms of your adaptability and also employability. And sometime then, when all these things put in a right direction, you definitely land onto like a job, professional job. That's great. I think it's number one point that you made is that you have to be focused, you have to be persistent, very hardworking, and then success will follow you. Okay, exactly. So now continually building upon your story. So the Bow Valley, which certificate did you do that from Bow Valley?
It was a very small, I think it's very minor, but it's this program known as a new opportunity for work program. Okay. And I think the new immigrants, that at least, this is the starting point. If nobody knows where to go, actually, okay. I think they just go and see these type of programs, and, they tell you where they can land.
Okay. Actually, this is basically more sort of a settlement type of, like, you were a new immigrant, and it's a settlement to, to teach you or to guide you what sources and what information available and what you can do. Okay. And then after that, you started doing education in finance. Did you have any background in finance from back home? Did you ever study finance before?
Never, never. So it's like I said, actually, it's like I think what I learned actually from my father, and I think I have same attitude actually also, that well, yes, one can, if somebody is intelligent, that's perfectly fine actually. But hardworking is very, very important. So if someone is a hardworking person, and whenever you're doing your hard work, actually, it's a lengthy process. Actually, it's you have to sweat. There's a nights, days you spend. But it was very tough. Honest to God, I tell you, Yunus, it was very tough.
When you're studying, it was hard. And you think some part-time work simultaneously as well, right?
Exactly. And I was doing an odd job actually, and at the same time I was studying also. Initially, once I did my investment funds, and once I enrolled in that course, actually, I didn't clue what it is actually. But I thought I have to start from somewhere. And I got a book actually, and then I realized, oh, it's very tough. I cannot handle that. But I went to every day, every Saturday and Sunday, I used to go to the library and spend from 12 to 5 there. And, whenever I need to go somewhere or social activities and all. So all those activities were always after that, basically. So if somebody's coming my home and, I'm meeting someone, so my weekends are always booked because of the studies, but so this was the starting point of investment, like I told you, investment funds in Canada course, But once I did it,
sorry, how did you choose that you wanted to study finance and having no background? I mean, it's a courageous decision, honestly speaking. Yeah. Like somebody mature as we come here in Canada and having no whatsoever background. I'm a finance graduate, and I also did Canadian securities courses early on, but I had a background. And I
I just,
knew a lot of things early on, and it wasn't so difficult for me. But
I was
how did you decide? How did you choose that? Okay, this is what I wanted to do.
initially, like you said, basically, I like as a personality wise, I have a, I have adaptability. Like I just try to do something. I don't want to sit like not doing anything. So I like met someone, and I see one of my friend actually, and one day I met him, and he told he's working in a bank. Not a single clue. so I said, oh, this is the thing where I need to go, because unfortunately, at that time I didn't have any directions. I didn't have any people who can provide me direction. Unfortunately, I didn't get those professional people that time. I have some unprofessional sort of approach here, basically. But that was the starting point actually. And I met, I thought, yeah, if he can go to the bank, basically, he had a finance background. And I said, I made my challenge myself, I'm going to pause this course, and I will, ultimate goal is go to the banking industry. And I don't know what I'm going to do after that, basically. So I did my course, this course, and I tell you a very interesting story, Yunus. Why he was a bank, but he has not done an investment friends in Canada course. And he told me there's a course you do, and then you can jump into the banking industry. And I enrolled myself, and he enrolled. He was working in the bank. He enrolled also while working in the bank, and I was outside. We both appeared in the exam. I passed, he failed, basically. So I realized, that I can do this thing. Later on, once I did the next step was doing a PFP, personal plan. That was very, very tough. It was doing a more of an MBA finance. I didn't realize, it was initially once I
What
enrolled
is it?
myself,
Which was it?
PFP, personal financial planner designation, basically.
Oh, okay, personal
It was
plan.
also financial planning
Financial
as,
planning.
as a planner, as a planner.
That
So
was
very hard. It was very hard. I completed. It's very hard for me, at least, with my background. But I think I completed in 2 years. There were 7 courses, and each course they had 2 books. It's just self-study sort of thing, So you just apply the sent book and you study at your own time. So during these 2 years, my weekends were booked. I always go library from 12, around 12, around 11, and come back once they flick the lights. So okay, so that is the time I come back home on weekends. But I studied a lot, and luckily I started passing all the courses. But once at 4th course, once I complete 3 courses, they gave me CSA gave me the certification financial advice certification. That was a big achievement actually for me, at least. And then I did a 4th course, which was it was investment and tax planning, and I failed. Okay, so once I failed on 4th course, and I little dejected initially. My goal, my path has been stopped, but I work hard and I appear again and pass again, and then the 5th course, and the 6th course, and the 7th course, and then after 7th courses, I got the designation.
okay. All right. And then how long did it take, Tanbhai, from starting the course when you started doing the certification, and then when you really finally you got the certification or designation?
2 years. 2 years.
In these 2 years, you were studying, working, and
working in the bank, basically. I got a job in Scotiabank meanwhile, and I'm working out like in daytime. I was there every night. I used to study 2 hours roughly, and on weekend like 6 hours per day. So it was a lot of studies, basically, and for me at least. So, but I end of the day, once I got my diploma from CSI. So, and they send me, and they send me congratulations and all those. So then I feel myself, I did something in Canada, and that was, and I think the feeling you have after so much hard work is I cannot tell you, basically, because my background is totally different. And once you achieve something which is not your scope, I think this makes you feel proud of yourself, with humble capacity.
yes. So how many years did it took from initially when you got the job and you became the branch manager?
I think I once again, basically, I think it took me 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
And then you became sort of the branch manager, I think is one of the sort of the highest,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was a very good opportunity. And because if I would have stayed there, I would have been like area manager or VP something, honestly, because I was there. Because my goal, I was third in sales in whole Calgary. In whole country, I was, I think, within 10, under 10. So my overall, I was very good. So I always believe, basically, whatever you do, basically, so whatever you do your best. Do your input should be to the highest mark. At least you can tell someone that I did my best, and this is the content I have now for review basically. Secondly, whenever someone get second, or my policy or maybe I don't know. This is my approach in life actually, in my job also, that whenever somebody give me a task, so I explore everything. So I go archives, I see bros, I see all the opportunity, all the windows basically, try to gather, do my spade work, do my best. Once I'm done actually, and I don't know from there, from what should I do next step, at least, so then I move to my immediate supervisors or, the colleagues, asking some questions, but it's always my habit is do my best first and then go back to the
and go for help, ask for help. One point I like to make here, a lot of people struggle a lot, but a lot of people are they demonstrate leadership and sort of success as well. Here in Canada, it's an equal opportunity employability place. So somebody who does not have any experience can always choose a field of his or her interest, and can develop and can do, can excel in it and can become the highest achiever. That's the beauty of Canadian economy, is that, and Canadian job market is that. But you just have to think about what you want to do, and then you have to sort of work your way through up. That's amazing. And the whole idea of doing this program, Success Story Chronicles, is to talk to real life people like you, Adnan Bhai, and then communicate to people, those who all the time they think, like it's just gloom and doom here. There's nothing you can do. And with family, with kids, you're still able to manage to pass such difficult exams, having no experience, and achieve such a higher job level. Okay, so this is the first part of your story that I think I got it now. And then some point in time, you thought that, okay, and this is a beauty again, after doing 10 years of something, you could change your profession, and then you could just think of something that you want to do, and you can transform into something else. That's again a beauty. So talk to me, what happened? You decided not to pursue for any reason in financial world, and then what did you do that point in time?
That was a turning point of my life actually, and I was 21 once I got commission, and I never faced any difficulty in my whole life. It was a very smooth sail till I was in back home, and then I came to, obviously like a struggle I just told you, but that rough patch after leaving bank basically for 1.5 year or year plus minus, it was tough. It's very tough. It was very personal reasons, which I basically left banking industry. And meanwhile, I was studying religious aspects also, basically. So some of those kick in actually. And
right.
So basically, so I thought, let's move another area. So, and I like you said initially, the transformation from one area to another.
Yeah.
This is in Canada, basically. You can always move. So I realized, what next I do actually, because if I'm not doing this thing, I have gone so much, I did so much achievement within the banking industry. So what should I do? What should I do next, basically? And I was in air again. Actually, I didn't clue like the one I did, started with the banking industry, and some wise person like yourself, basically, I met again actually, And he provided me very good guidance. And he said, try this degree from GIS, basically. Maybe it can help you. It's a little different. I never done any course in IT before. And another, even I didn't know what was the external hard drive is actually. So just imagine my knowledge of IT. And because of this, my nature actually, I just jump in. I said, okay, I just went to say it. I went to say it, by the way, and I met counselor, and I enrolled myself in this GIS program. It was a 1-year program. It's a post-secondary education. They take post-secondary 1 year, and then they give you the degree and some experience also. The reason I really joined this GIS is basically, first of all, I didn't have much experience in IT, so I wanted to learn IT. Number one. There were some other courses which I heard within this GIS, and I want to do Python scripting, for example. Not a single clue what it is actually. Never done any scripting or work with before. Remote sensing, cartography. I'm a cartographer also, by the way. So I did that course also during that GIS course, basically. So I did those courses. It was tough. It was not easy, honestly, I tell you, Yunus Bhai. But I completed my course and with a reasonable level, actually. So, and once I done, actually, and then I tried looking for opportunity in the market. Because of my finance background, I went for the interviews, 2-3 companies, they called me. And they always ask me this, you were in the finance, now you're in IT. What you're doing here? So it was tough. It was tough, and I don't know what to say actually. I said I need to transform to another career, and but unfortunately I didn't get a chance actually. Then I realized I need to do something else also, and I did a project. I went back and did a project management certification from the state. Then I went to Mountain University. They have a contract management certification also, which I really like. Once I did these 2 courses, I realized, I think because I have inbuilt leadership qualities because of my background and administrative and all those, I can control, I really like this area technically. So I thought, this is the area I do move on. So I jump in and did my courses, and I start applying different opportunity, and luckily I got opportunity in SLC level, basically. And that is the starting point from where I started as a
second part of your career here. Just wanted to make 2 points here. First is basically, don't be afraid when you think that, there's something that you want to quit to do something else.
Exactly.
Go for it. Because once you decided that, that this is not for you, then that's it. That's the going forward point is that you're going to select something that you like, and then you do that satisfies you. The other point that I think I got from your story is that, maybe it's not the first attempt that you do that will make you success. Sometimes you have to do a second attempt. And the thing is that, as you said, that you are a resilient person, and that reflected so heavily that you have done some education and you were so successful. You did some education and it didn't go through, it didn't work for you, but you still continued with other things. And it's just that it just makes me think that how much courage you need, because human beings are sort of made up of emotions and feelings, and when you go through such things, it's easy for you to break it, fall apart, because you're not getting any success. But you still continued, and then you still sort of struggle to see that what is out there else that you could do. Okay, so then SNC Loveland, and then that's your contract and procurement part that you continued, and then you sort of achieved the manager position. And in between, I remember that you said that, you got laid off, and then you started again, you got laid off. Just generally talk to me that, what do you think what was the lesson that you learned through this, going through this stages and this phase of sort of job search and employment?
Very good question. Once I joined SNC, after 2 years I was laid off. Then I joined Enbridge, And after 1.5 years, I was laid off. And then I went to Site Energy Sources for work for 4 months and again laid off. And then I went to SASPAR and worked for a year plus and again laid off. So 4 times within 8-9 years, basically, I was laid off. So it's not easy, I tell you, because you have a family, you have to pay bills, all those things basically. Though, but you have to be very persistent. Basically, these I think I never lost hope actually. So I thought, I will work again. I will try again. I will try again. So once you start working hard, back and forth, back and forth actually, and so then I think God also listens to you basically. And I think the I never I don't know, I never lose hope honestly. I always believe it's okay if for example, if they are not giving me chance, no worries, I will try again. And I did actually. It was a tough. It's not easy. People, I've met people. They were in depressions, anxiety. There's some, there's so many disturbances, and I realized, that if I become, it is going to affect my family also at the same time. So I try to come out and start applying actually. Meanwhile, I also met different other people and who were engineers, who were laid off, and I started counseling them also. Technically, I was myself laid off. I used to sit with them in Tim Hortons, and chat with them, have a coffee and all those stuff basically. And I see the windows, where we can apply jobs, And because of these 4 layoffs, I learned a lot. I did some during this process. I did some resume courses also. Maybe there's some weaknesses in my resume. There's some weaknesses in my personality also. There maybe I cannot speak well. I cannot explain well. My skill set is not properly aligned with the jobs basically. So those are some areas I did small one here and there small courses. One day basically, and I realized what are my weaknesses actually. And then I started applying jobs basically, and then obviously I'm getting answers. Then I realized that if I'm facing this issue, there's so many hundreds of people outside actually, they have some also same issues, and maybe I'm resilient, maybe hardworking, maybe God has given me these capabilities, but there are other people's also, maybe they are not like me actually, they are maybe lesser than me. For example, I'm just thinking actually. So I thought just to make some group actually, I made a group, this job and career group. Secondly, I also approach people and try to help them in their resumes, and meet them, try to explain them how you should approach for any job. And I through Zoom meetings, Skype meetings, I help. I honestly, a lot of people I don't know. A lot of people approach me through my group, and I help them in their resumes, CVs, and applying in different positions in Canada. I don't have engineering background, so I just tell them, the only thing which I tell them is how to approach for the job basically. So if you are applying for a job, what should you do? What is the way, at least, what is your hard work should not be in vain. So there is a process of how you approach for the job. A lot of people, what they do is in their resumes, they just send same resume, they send everyone. So they do not customize, or they do not do any cosmetics basically within resume. And we need to tweak according to the situation basically. And technically, for example, I give you example. I'm a contract specialist. Okay. So, but there are other positions also very similar nature of my job. I can be a sourcing specialist also. I can be a supply chain management analyst also. I can be a buyer also. I can contract administrator also. Anything basically. So these all positions, they do the same job. So you just have to tweak accordingly. So if, for example, some engineer, somebody has a SCADA experience, somebody has a PNC experience, for example, somebody designing experience, So and technically everyone in their engineering background in the university, they have read those subjects or disciplines, But once, for example, they have done 50 disciplines, subjects in the university. Once they come out in the market, they only, maybe first company they meet or the work, maybe they do first 10. And then the next company, they move next 10 basically. So somewhere someone has some experience background. Another example I want to give you, my son, he did a geophysics, University of Calgary in major. Minor he has done in geology, and he has just read one subject, geotech, basically. The first job he got a job from geotech. The geotech basically is, and then now he's working as a geotech and a geology, and he has not touched upon the geophysics till now. So so I think there is a flexibility. One has to be very flexible. One has to move around and look for the opportunities. And I think if properly aligned and properly approached to the job, nobody can sit home.
I think if I were to sum up your this story is that you have to continuously improve upon. Like, even after having such experience here in Canadian economy, we're still taking resume improvement courses. So that tells me that, learning should never stop. And learning, the field of learning is, you determine that, as you said, that, you realize that there might be some weaknesses in yourself. That's the hard part to actually believe. We are ourselves, think about ourselves when we think that we are the champions. We know everything, right? This feeling of realizing that you lack in something is the first point of improvement. If you don't think that you need something to learn, that means that you're just stopping an opportunity to come your way to improve upon yourself. I think the second summary point that you said is customization. So don't handle everything with one stick. Look at, as you said that, there are positions that are closely related to each other, more or less they do the same, but their requirements are different in the sense that you don't need to have a master's degree if you are going to go for a lower opportunity. So you just customize your resume accordingly. And third summary, the point that you made, I think, is a flexibility, that you cannot be sort of, you cannot get stuck to one thing and then you said that, no, that's it. You have to be flexible about opportunities, about your jobs, and about anything that you do here, actually. And flexibility is known as a good quality here in Canada. People who have very hard and sort of, opinion about things are considered as they are not flexible and not so much of a great strength to have. So that's great. And then maybe last few minutes that I have, I wanted to maybe ask you to, if for our new viewers, if somebody would like to transform into this contract management and contract specialist role, how does he or she would do that, and what are the courses that should take, and how to start in this particular, if somebody's starting just brand new into this profession?
For example, if someone just starting, for example, like two options, two scenarios. If someone has a financial background and they must have read somewhere the supply chain management also, so they can always highlight those areas in their resumes basically, and then they can start applying for jobs basically. The second option, people like me basically, who has not a single clue and they don't have any much experience basically. I think you just have you have a YouTube. For example, if they don't want to don't want to go in college basically, and they just want to learn this thing, and I think we have a YouTube, we have a Google basically, and so these are some of those areas basically they can start on a short term basically. Like if they want looking for some long term, there are some courses in state, the supply chain management diploma, I think for 1 year, a very good diploma course basically. The contract management courses in Mountain University, I think there are 6 courses, and they can do those courses also, and then they have some know-how of what is contract management also. And there are a lot of articles, a lot of material is available in the market also basically, and they can go through and they can start looking for those opportunities. The third thing is basically, I think what I did also at the same time, I went to Indeed.com, Workopolis, Monster.ca, and I just open up any contract and administrator position basically. If I was a brand new guy, so I just open this position and see what exactly they're looking for. So there are two important things is, one is the responsibilities and one is the requirements. The responsibilities, obviously, this is the request for proposal, RFQ, or tender basically. So we all have we have some clues, some experience, somewhere we have that. So, those are very generic, but it's very, once they learn first time, it will be this skill set they have, they can use everywhere, basically, in all industries. The second thing is the requirement, actually. The requirement is very important. A lot of jobs people they have in the market, which they just like a fresh, very young, like they're not looking for young people, basically, like a very junior position as a buyer or a contract specialist, basically, or contract administrator on a job, and they can start applying. Number one. So last thing, this is third. So fourth thing is the and I just forgot, basically, I should have told you initially, actually, and that is in all the industries, I think if someone applying for a job and looking for opportunity, so for example, he select this discipline, contract specialist or contract position, so he make a folder of a job in his desktop, and it does and then basically within the folder, within that he can differentiate or make other folders of different industries. For example, oil and gas, utility, like a power sector, retail, aviation, transportation, government. Within government, you have the public, municipal, federal, commercial, basically. And then, basically oil and gas, they have different client companies and different. So once he knows, okay, these are the folders, and then he start going in that direction, basically, start finding those jobs where there. And it is much easier for him to look for opportunities. But these are some of the areas, basically, if someone want to join this profession, they can use this, I think this way, and they can enter into the business.
Oh, thank you very much. So maybe the last question is that, so the new immigrant, those who are coming as just a fresh, from anywhere in the world to Canada, what suggestions or what recommendations that you want to give them? You yourself is a source of inspiration. Actually, I learned a lot from you just talking to you, and people can definitely, reflect back and then say, okay, these are the things that we should actually consider while trying to find a job here. But what are your recommendations are to new people, those who are coming here?
First of all, never lose hope, basically. So that is very, very important. So everyone who came before them, they were immigrant. So they started from somewhere. Number one. So this is for first and foremost thing. The second thing is the networking, actually. So then the social networking is very, very important. They start initially, obviously, for example, they reside in Calgary, and they start looking for other people's, they start chatting other people, going libraries, like those areas, and they can start finding opportunities, and discussing. And then also at the same time, start booking appointments with the different counselors, University of Calgary or SAIT or Bow Valley College or Columbia College, basically. And so these are, then at the same time, look for opportunity in the government website, and look, if as a new immigrant, what opportunities they have. And I think the most important thing is also your degrees, or your qualifications. So if we are bringing some qualification back home, I think the best way to do equivalency in Canada, and basically, like we have ICOS in Alberta, we have WES I think overall in Canada. So I think those are the areas they can start looking opportunities. But I think they have to start from somewhere, and the best place to start is the library. So if I will be the person, I just came yesterday, for example, the first and foremost thing, I will make a library card. And this is the starting point, actually. And then start socializing, networking, looking opportunities, different areas, and browsing in the website, So choose 3-4 disciplines. For example, if someone is in finance guy, so he has different. I'm just giving example. So he has different options. He can become a contract specialist, like in procurement and contracts, or supply chain management. He can audit. He can go and audit also. He can become accountant also. Okay, he can go on a finance also. So bookkeeping and all those. So he has 4 disciplines. I just told you basically. So he can start somebody who has a finance background actually. So there is another thing actually which I totally forgotten, and I think you are working in that capacity also, and that is project controls. And we always forget that area, and people don't know this different disciplines, within the power and the utility sector or the construction environment technically. And that's the project controls. Within project controls, we have the scheduling side. Somebody do a planner, then they do cost side also, expediter also. So these are some of those areas they can start looking opportunities. And this is all relevant to the finance guy, I'm just basically saying. And there's another opportunity they can look for, and that's the document control side. So, they can look, and somebody who has not engineer, they don't have that technical background, but they have a financial background. So I think these are the areas they look for. For someone who has a technical background, I think they should do the same formula, which I just told you, same directions basically. But at the same time, they try to approach the SAT and all those areas. Then they start looking, how can we upgrade our education actually? So maybe they have done some courses back home and they have good, strong skills. And I think they have missing some skills. I think they then upgrade those ones. I think I heard one of your success stories, and somebody was referring about the soft skills. Very, very important. I think the biggest problem with our immigrant is that we don't have soft skills. We should, whenever we are mentioning in our resume or a CV, basically, we should highlight our soft skills also. We have a hard skills. We have degrees, we have diplomas, we have bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, but we don't technically, we lack soft skills, And I think we should have like a team player. I'm just saying, as a leadership qualities, how we integrate within the other companies actually. So these are, I think, some of those areas we are missing. And I think there was another thing I learned also is that the communication gap. A lot of people, they just stay within their communities. They move and do not integrate with other people because of certain limitations. Understand? But I think it's better to go and see what other people they do and have a chit chat, and then, so in this way, with better integration, better learning, better training, better networking and social setup, they can integrate very well in the society.
Well, great. You summed up very well. And I think I can't say better than that, what you just summarized. It. You just sort of, put everything into like a small folder, that the things that new immigrants, when they are coming here, this is how they should approach their job search here. And I must say that today, this is my 6th interview, but I learned a lot today, as I learned from every success story as well. But I think the success, the struggle, and then persistence and resilience that you showed is very commendable. And I think this is what everyone should think, that, ready for hard work, ready for to face the challenges, ready to develop yourself, and then see continuous improvement. I would just thank you so much. I would just say thank you very much, Adnan bhai. It was a really excellent interview. If you want to say anything else to viewers.
No, I think I explained everything to you, Yunus bhai. It's and I think, like I said initially, it's a very good platform. And but last thing actually is the never lose hope. Actually, in Canada, there are opportunities, but we do not know how to approach basically. So that is then meet right with the right people actually. And like yourself, what you are doing, contributing within society, and I'm just doing 2 cents within that actually. And but I think I learned this thing, and I think it is our job as a moral obligation. Also, we can teach or train, or tell people what to do. It just, I give you example. If I need to go to Calgary, I'm in Calgary. I need to go to Edmonton actually. And if I take a train to Lethbridge, so I'm not going Edmonton actually. So I'm going towards Lethbridge. So my direction is totally wrong. So I have to change my direction actually. I might change my approach actually. If my approach is right, one day I'm going to reach my destination basically. And the last thing is, I think hard working is the asset. If someone has ability or capability or they have attitude of hard working, you can fulfill all your desires and your achievements, and then you become as a proud parent also for your children, also for the future generations.
You set some example and you set some bars for them to sort of, look up to. That's absolutely being parent. We have to inspire our children, right? So when you say things, you have to do hard work, but you yourself is not doing hard work, they're not gonna believe in you because you're not doing hard work. Resilience and persistence and open for opportunities, all these things you have to. What do we call lead by examples, or to lead by examples? Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Nanlai, and I really appreciate you talking to me and giving me this time. And I really hope that people, those who are going to watch this, would benefit from this. Have a wonderful day yourself.
Same here, Yunus bhai, I really appreciate it, and I think it was a very good platform. And I hope for the best for the. And if someone wants to approach me, they are welcome.
Yes. So if anybody likes to talk to Adnan, then they can ask me, and I can provide Adnan's contact details here.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's it for Success Story 6. Today we had Adnan Ahmed, and what an interview we had today. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day. We'll talk again. Okay, take care. Bye.